Hey, welcome my friends and fellow Sim fans, and you may know me from my gameplay videos, such as my 100 Baby Challenge channel, and if not, I hope you'll go check that out and give it a chance. Or you may know me from my Sims articles on hub pages and level skip, but in case you don't know me at all, greetings! I'm Kenzie, and in the past year, I've become obsessed with The Sims 4. When I was brand spanking new about a year ago, I struggled to learn how to build houses. I love home and garden stuff, so I could not wait to put my own personal decorative touches and create dwellings using my own imagination and creative juices. However, I'm not tech savvy. I'm not a gamer. Never really played video games before. I don't even have that basic instinct because it's not intuitive for me. It's not something I ever did. So it was hard for me to find a good comprehensive guide for building in The Sims that really went down to the basics. Particularly because most Sim fans, they've been playing for so long and they're so past the basics, they don't even realize that some of the things that they were saying sounded like Greek to me. I don't speak Greek. But I struggled and I got help and I read and I practiced and I learned. And I figured everyone is new at some point. So I wanted to create some guides for those who are new like I was just a year ago and to try to go over the basics from that perspective. Now, I have put out a couple of articles already and a couple of videos already, and these go over the basic build mode screen and basic functions and show you how to make interior decorations and how to use some cheats. And I'm going to place a link to those in the description box below if you need them. I like to do both articles and videos on the topic because I feel they go hand in hand. The videos give a great visual, but I'm also a reader, and sometimes being able to slow down and read that step by step just helps it make more sense to me, so I'm providing both. And today I'm gonna move on from the interiors and start showing you exteriors, and we'll go over how to build a house from scratch, point by point. I'm gonna show you how to make a very basic structure, and then simple ways that you can use those exact same techniques that you used to build that structure to fancy that structure up a little bit and create something a little bit more complex and a little bit more interesting. So first time builders or builders who have been struggling, let's go over the basics of building a house, shall we? Alright, so you want to go to your empty lot where you want to make your house, and then you're going to go to your build tools, and you can start, if you want, with the single wall build tools, and you can just draw the walls one at a time, any length you want. And once you enclose those walls by drawing that fourth wall, it's going to give you a foundation and a ceiling, and you're going to have a completely enclosed structure. Another thing you do is use the customizable build tool, which has these little dots that you work with, and it's the same thing basically. It's the same thing as clicking and dragging walls. But the easiest way to just get a square or rectangular structure started is to grab the room tool, which is that little square box, second from the left, and drag it across diagonally. Boom, there you have it, it does it all. And remember, almost nothing is set in stone with these builds, so if you want to turn your house, click on the house, you see the little box, click on the curved arrows, you can turn the orientation of the house, or you can just click the crossed arrows to pick it up and move it anywhere you want to on the lot. You have so much leeway. Click on the little side arrows to change the size and shape of the house, or look on the top of that little gray square menu that's hovering above your structure, and you'll see 3 heights, and that's your wall height, so you can make your walls low, which is kind of normal, or medium, or high, which is usually really wealthy houses or really huge houses. You can click on those beige tools to create an open floor platform that's without walls, and that will give you a nice little porch, patio, deck, or whatever that is not enclosed. Just like with the walls, you could use the side arrows to adjust their size. Then dig into the house to that up-down arrow in the center, pull it up, and you can raise the foundation. You can make it as high or as low as you want. You can go sub-ground, or I like to raise it a little bit above ground. Then you click on the page up arrows in the upper right corner, and that raises you 1 floor up, so now you're on the roof, and you're going to actually put a roof on top of your ceiling here. And we're going to choose one of the regular square roofs for this kind of house because it's the simplest. And you see you also have the arrows there to stretch and rotate the roof just like you did with the room tool. And you can actually make your roof bigger if you wanted, like say you wanted to cover a carport type area or enclosed deck. And if you prefer, you can just use those little corner arrows to pull down, and it gives the roof a little bit more overhang. And the center arrow allows you to adjust the height of the roof, and those little dots allow you, if you wish, to adjust the roof curvature. So you can just play with that until you get the roof the exact size and shape that you want. And Roofs can get really complicated, so I'm probably going to make another article or video just dedicated to doing roofs, especially when you have a 2-story house. We're going to get back to roofs later, but for now, just get comfortable with that tool. Then you want to give your house a paint job or some kind of outdoor pattern, and it's the same patterns that you use for the interior walls. They have specific ones for outdoors like siding, or you can use some kind of masonry like stone or brick, or you can use wood planks. I mean, it's really up to you. You can even just have a plain painted house. Heck, you can wallpaper your house on the outside. This is The Sims. It won't matter. And if you click on it while holding the shift key down, that entire structure it'll wrap around the entire thing, so you get it done in one shot. And each step you look at, you think about it, you adjust it, you change it if you want, you stretch it, you contract it. You might even want to undo certain steps. Just play with it. It's a work in progress. You can click on that swatch on top of your roof and it'll show you the roof patterns. And you can click whether you want a tile roof or a shingled roof, glass roof. A lot depends on which downloadable content packs you have installed. But pick one that's appealing to you. You can choose the color you want it in and then just click it on the roof and it'll cover the entire roof. And now I want to work on the actual house walls some more by placing some doors and windows. The roof gets in the way, so I'm just going to page down. It just lets me see the walls and patio more clearly. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to put some pattern on my little porch over here. So I'm going to click on the floor patterns, just like when you're decorating the interiors. Hold the shift key down to cover the entire surface. Now we're going to select a door, and doors have to be on the grids because they're functional, but some doors are only 1 grid width. Some doors are up to 3 grid widths. So to find the right door for your size house, you can play around with different ones, and if it's not quite centering or you're not quite able to place it exactly where you want, you can always change the width of your walls or just find a door with a different width. Same thing with the windows. Just pick one that you like that has the right architecture style and feel and color and kind of scale to the size of your walls and the size of your doors. And remember, grander houses are going to have big, grander windows, whereas common folk houses are usually not going to have as big windows, just where they might have windows that have aluminum framing. And just think about those kinds of styles when you're choosing your preferred doors and windows. And for now, just kind of give them a speculative placement, because when you actually want to go in and create your floor plan and draw your walls, you may need to move a window. It just may not work out as well as you thought. So everything is just kind of speculation for now. And now I'm going to create a little porch to enclose my front stoop, and I'm going to pick this fence that's got this great little pickets, and I'm going to put up some columns for realism, and it's just going to give it a nice finishing touch. Columns, when you first place them, will have the arrows above them, so if you do have high walls, you could raise them or lower them, depending on your needs. And when you try to put the fence on one of those structures, those open ground structures, foundations, it's going to automatically wrap around and adhere to each side. Then if you want to get rid of part of it, so obviously create an opening for people to come into, just take the hammer and delete it. Another nice finishing touch, you pick on the roof trim, choose the color you like, choose the style you like, choose the width you like, just click it on that roof and it'll automatically wrap around. And there's more finishing touches on the roof sculptures, but you're pretty much done with creating a basic house. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to look at another kind of house that we can make just as quickly and just as easily, just a few little additions, because that kind of house is cute, little bungalow, and it may serve its place and it's good for practicing on, but you want houses that can be a little bit more complex looking, look like you put a little bit more work and architecture into it. And we're going to do that right now by starting with our basic box, and then we're just going to add on a few little boxes of different sizes that jut out. You may want to even think about the interior as you're doing it, like maybe the living room comes a little more forward, or there is a bigger bedroom that extends past most of the back of the house in the back. Just intuit it, just play around, because remember, you can change it all and you can knock down walls as much as you want and put up more walls if you want. So just go around with it until you find a shape that you basically like. And because I got the box tool I'm using, I got some interior walls that I didn't really want, so I'm just deleting them real quick so I have a big open shell. Now here's the trick. Step 2 to making the house a little more complicated. Besides those jutting out boxes, you're going to use several different roofs and combine them. And just try different sizes, different shapes, different positioning to create an interesting roof look. Sometimes you can overlap them if you want. It takes a little bit, like I said, to learn roofs, and I'm going to probably do a tutorial focusing exclusively on roofs, but for now, just twist them and turn them and raise them and lower them and widen them and shorten them, and see if you can't find a nice little roof pattern that you find pleasing. And if you pull them back, you can enclose the roof, the gaps between the two different roofs and stuff like that. Sometimes it looks more aesthetically pleasing if they all fall at the same angle. So play around with it until you come up with a design that you are pleased with. And now I'm going to raise this house. I want its foundation to be a little bit higher than the other house because I'd like to add a little porch with steps they could get up and down to go into. So I'm going to open my foundation tool and add a pattern to my foundation. I think I'm going to go with brick for this house, make it a little brick house. I'm going to apply a nice red brick wall pattern. Or maybe I'll use gray for the upper house just to give it a little bit of variation. Actually, yeah, I kind of like that contrast. And I'm going to get the foundation tool and then give myself that little front porch. And I'll make it just the size that I want it to be. Now click on the steps you want. You can't change the color of steps, so make sure you get the one you want and then put it somewhere empty on the lot. And as you hold down your left mouse button, rotate, like spin the mouse, make circles with your mouse so you can rotate the stairs, and then just shove it up against your foundation where you want it to go, and it'll automatically adjust to that height. And steps are like roofs, they can get really complicated, so I'll probably throw in some more details about steps later, but for now, I'm just gonna say put your steps where you want them and then use the arrows on the sides to make them the width that you want them to be. Because this is a brick house, instead of just putting a railing there, I think I'm gonna make an actual brick half wall along the side of the porch, and you can go to the wall tools, and right under the regular wall tools, you see you click that little half wall tool, and then you can draw a half wall along the foundation. And then I'm just going to apply the same brick pattern to both sides of my half wall because I want it to look built in. And then going back to the wall tools, I'm going to click the third option down, which is wall trims, and I'm just going to give it a little nice trim topper that matches my house. And then real quick, before I forget, I'm going to grab some more wall pattern and put it up to that exposed area of my roof to give it another little more contrast. And if you did it on one side of the roof, it's actually going to show up on the other side of the roof, but because I have these roof pieces kind of tucked into other parts, you can't see it, but you would be able to see it exposed if you had both sides of the roof facing, each different side of the house. And I'm going to add a nice little enclosed deck to the back, and I'm going to use the curved foundation, so I get a nice curved little deck, and we'll put that back there for our family to hang out, have some nice summer fun, barbecues, whatever. And not only do all the deck pieces that you can use stretch or change shape if you use those side arrows, but you can also combine pieces with different shapes to create different looks if you want. So if you wanted angles, you could use the triangle combined with the rectangle. If you wanted partially a curve and then partially an L shape or straight, you can use the different types of design tools to put them together, and they'll automatically combine at the same height and become one big piece. If you wanted to do that, it's a good idea to put them on an empty spot in the lot and turn them to get them to face the way you want first before you combine them with the rest. But I don't really want this little triangular piece, so I'm gonna delete that angle here. But because it's attached now and became one, I can't just delete it with the hammer, or it's gonna delete the entire deck. So I have to draw a wall first to separate the parts, and then I can delete the side that I want to delete. Or I can just click the undo button and undo things until before I attached it. Now, I can't use the half wall tool to enclose this porch like I did with the front porch because they don't curve. If anybody does know how to make them curve, please let me know in the comments, but as far as I know, they don't curve, so I can't use those. I have to actually pick a railing, and the railings will confine to the shape of the deck, so they'll just automatically pop right into place to conform. And now I can add some doors, add my windows, I'll add some nice sliding, or maybe some French doors that open up onto the porch. And of course I want to put some pattern on my porch, deck, ground, foundation. Finishing touches all around, basically, just finishing touches. I'm using 3 different kinds of windows. You want to mix and match windows a little bit to break up the monotony, but you don't want to over mix them. You want to have like 6 different types of windows, especially if they're coming from 6 different architectural styles all over the house. So try to keep it somewhat consistent. And usually a good way to do that is by choosing windows from the same pack, but it's not a necessity. I mean, it's your house. You go crazy if you want. Don't worry about conforming. Get creative. I'm just going to give it a few little tweaks, like I'm going to change that pattern on the roof because I don't like it. I'm going to change the roof color. And just, finish it up until I'm satisfied with it. And it's a work in progress until you decide you're done with it. And that's basically it. That's all you need to do to build yourself quite a realistic looking house. I mean, this is kind of the house in neighborhoods nearby that I grew up in. Of course, not my neighborhood, but neighborhoods nearby that I would look at and think, oh God, I wish I lived in a house like that. I always lived in apartments. But I always love to go through the neighborhoods where the houses were and look up and down the streets and just imagine how cool it must be to live in an actual house. And it's fun for me to build these things. I'm sure you're going to have fun with it. It could really play into your story and your Sim's personality, giving them just the right living space for that kind of Sim, that kind of personality. So if you're new to building, give this a try. Maybe you can tag me at hashtag positively simful and upload it to the gallery so that I can see it. That would be really cool. Or maybe you can just leave a comment on one of my articles, or even leave a comment down here in YouTube. And of course, it also helps me if you like, and even if you subscribe, because I'm going to be having more building tutorials coming to you soon. Thanks for watching. Take good care of yourself. Stay safe out there. Happy simming, happy building, and I will see you next time.